Hello, and welcome to Wacker Neuson Tech Talks. I'm your host and technical training manager, Jake Gaylord, and today we're going to be talking about resetting tip-over faults on RT rollers. I've got Brian Cott with me. Good morning, Brian. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing, Jake?
Very well. He's a technical support specialist, and Brian takes lots of calls on this procedure every day, so I'm very happy to have him with us to walk through the reset procedure. Tell us a little bit more about what we're going to be talking about today, Brian. I know there's lots of different engines and software versions that we need to consider. What are we going to do today?
There's an ECM in here, which is an engine control module. It's got a safety device called, we call it a tip-over reset. It triggers a light on here and can also lock out the machine in certain instances. Okay. We're going to show you the procedure of how to reset that to get the machine going again, and also check over the engine for any possible damage that could have been caused to it during the tip over.
Okay. So as a technician, potentially I get a call, hey, the trench roller just tipped over somehow. Can you come reset it? What am I going to look at? What am I going to hear or see to clue me in that we do have indeed a tip over fault?
Well, on the machine console there's a bank of lights, and the far right lower light is your tip over light. That's triggered when the machine tips over more than 45 degrees.
Okay.
And that will trigger the light, and depending on what mode you have it in, it may lock the machine out, or it may just be an alert saying, I was tipped over, you should check me out, and look over the machine to make sure there was no damage. Before we start this procedure, you want to make sure that there is no damage to the engine.
Okay.
When the unit tips over, if it's been on its side a long time, there's a potential that oil's worked its way past the piston rings into the combustion chamber.
Great point, Brian. So depending on the amount of oil that could have gotten past those rings, if you go to fire this thing up, you're either going to have a mosquito fogger or you might be bending rods, right?
Yes, you can cause some severe damage to the engine, or when you try to start it, it may just lock up on you, which is a bad sign.
Okay, so rather than risking it and hoping that it's only going to smoke, we should always probably go to the engine manufacturer's recommendations for an engine that's been on its side.
Yeah, great advice. You should always use their recommendations when checking the engine out.
So now that we know that the engine is in good shape, Brian, what's our first step in resetting this tip-over fault on the RT roller?
Well, Jake, the first thing you need to get your hands on is the Wacker Neuson AB diagnostic tool. This is either going to be in the cabinet with the charging cable, or sometimes it's shipped in the owner's manuals packet.
Okay, so this isn't the special tool that we need to purchase. It should come with each machine.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, it does come with every machine.
All right, Brian. So this RT is obviously equipped with a Kohler engine. I am aware that there's different software versions of ECMs on the different Kohlers, or on the different rollers, whether it's a Kubota or a Kohler engine. The procedure we're overviewing today, what software versions will that cover?
This procedure covers 3 different software versions. The version we have here on this machine, which is C1.0, and it also works on C1.5 and H1, which is used exclusively on Kubota.
Okay, so now that we know what software versions are covered with this procedure, what's the next step, Brian?
The next step is to locate the diagnostic test port, which on the Kohler versions is below the thermostat housing. You have to remove the protective plug to expose the test port.
And I see that's got a tether on it, so you can't lose that plug, Brian. Is that correct?
Yes, you do need to plug that back in after you're done with your procedure, or you're going to get a warning light on the machine.
Okay, understood.
So you plug in the diagnostic tool, make sure it's snug in place, and then route it up over the hose to where you can get at it.
All right, Brian, now that we have the diagnostic tool connected, I understand there's a series of steps that need to happen simultaneously. Can you walk us through what those might be?
Yes, once the tool is in place, the machine needs to be in off, and you're going to hold the B button on the diagnostic tool. You're going to reach around and turn the key on.
Okay.
And then you need to locate the ECM at the front of the engine, and you're going to look for a small letter D for diagnostic.
And there it is.
The next step to clear out the tip-over reset is to hold the A and B buttons at the same time, and after about 5 seconds, you're looking on the ECM, and you should see 9 dashes appear across the screen on the ECM. Once that appears, the tip-over has been reset.
Now that we've actually seen the 9 dashes in the ECM display, we do know that the fault is reset. How come sometimes I still see the light on the display in the back, Brian?
You will need to complete one key off sequence and back on for the light to go out.
And then it'll go out,
yep.
Okay.
Then the light will be out, and the tip over has been reset. Now you should be set to go.
Fantastic. So we remove our diagnostic tool, replace the protective plug, place the tool back in the compartment for safekeeping, and that essentially wraps up this process. Is that correct?
Yes, it does. Now you're all set.
All right. Well, thank you very much for walking us through this procedure today, Brian. For more information on our full line of rollers, please visit our training website for information on instructor-led and e-learning based courses. And to make it even easier to get training information, please join our text club. Simply text the word WN Training to 31996 for text and exclusive offers from Wacker Neuson Training. I'm your host and technical training manager, Jake Gaylord, saying goodbye for now.